Hold on. Say it again. What are you talking about? The lid? What?
Well, the white paint lid was all screwed up, so I had to tear it up. But I think if I get a lid off one of those bad paints in the backyard, I can use one of those.
TE.
Okay, TE.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about putting away the stuff that we were doing that's in your front yard. There are cement projects, pretend rocks, in the flower bed out there. But those will, what, tomorrow you think is the time to check those out or something?
Yeah. I don't care, Cameron. TE and TEI, right? It was nice for him to demonstrate example of TE there. He wasn't doing it in response to me asking him to demonstrate a example of TE there. But this commenter, Mitch, he asked on the on video, can you just make a simple video that just explains the difference between TI and TE? So Cameron's sitting there going, but Eric, you didn't answer my question. And that's TE. He wants to know what I actually think he should do about the lid on the paint. I don't fucking care. I don't know. Who cares? But Eric, if you don't, it's possible if you don't do anything that the paint will dry out. It won't be useful at all. Now it's kind of messed up already. It's not really good paint. This is probably Cameron's position on the matter, and he's thinking, but all these words you're saying, Eric, are great and everything, but the actual thing that has any value here, namely the paint that is a resource at risk of being dried up and going away, is something that needs to be addressed. And I'm just saying, do you think I should get a lid from the thing there? Or basically saying, hey, can I take a lid from something else to fix this, to address this problem? Of course, Cameron, do whatever the fuck you want. I appreciate you taking care of things like that when you do so because...
Keeping you in the loop.
Thank you, appreciate it. Hey, you are a gentleman, a scholar, and a reader of fine literature. You also have excellent TE, unlike me.
You're only partially correct with those things you say, but thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And I say those things because I have FE, whereas he has FI. The ISTJ goes SITE, FI, NE. Okay, so the question about TITE then is one of, you can look at it through a variety of frameworks, okay? On the one hand, you could say, let's pretend we're approaching a new problem that we've never encountered before, and the problem is some sort of, let's pretend it's a social problem that we need to address in some way. Now, the TI person will try to understand why the problem exists, and we'll try to parse it out. So they'll go, okay, well, you're right about this, but you're right about this. And the reason this thing exists is because of this element over here. It's an underlying motivational thing. It's going to cause the problem to continue to exist if we don't do something about that, blah, 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 blah. And then someone will go, okay, great. So, and then they'll look around and they'll go, that's a nice explanation. We still have the problem. Oh, well, you guys got to do this shit. Well, aren't you supposed to come in and solve the problem? No. I'm a consultant. I explain your problem to you. And I maybe admire your problem in a constructive way. Like, say, well, you sure do have a uniquely complex problem here. It makes it an interesting puzzle for me to figure out. And here's what I think your basic causal vectors are. And here's these elements are conditional on these elements. And if you pull this thing away here, probably you won't be able to keep this revenue stream because blah, blah, blah. There's some sort of analysis of some company or whatever. All of that is great. None of that is actually doing anything. TE is very aware of that. TI is two different ways. It's either saying, yeah, but it's better to default to not doing things, the cautionary principle, until and unless you have a high degree of resonance with consistency. So they'll check it against lots of different frameworks, lots of different models, make sure it's sound, understand it through a TE framework as well, what it's going to do outcome-wise, and and why is this more efficient or that more efficient way to accomplish something. That's like what TI will use TE in that fashion. Whereas TE, if it's using TI, it goes, we got to get this shit done. What are some possible barriers we might encounter? There's a big difference between this thing. We have to make this idea earn action. What are some possible problems it might cause? TI goes, what are some things that are wrong with this stuff that you present me? And what are some possible problems your action might cause? Whereas TE says, what are some possible solutions to this thing you bring me? And what are some possible barriers to getting those solutions done? It's a different frame of reference, and we can only we only have time and attention enough to give to one of them consciously as a default. Now, ENTP is pretty strong with their TE in the 6th slot. I get shit done. I know how to get shit done. But I come to understand TE as meaning my good TE wisdom is this. Around all these TI people and intuitives and stuff, I hear all this talk about how things ought to be, or how they ideally would be, or how it could be improved upon conceptually. The only thing that's actually useful around here, as far as T goes, is suggestions of a specific single task that I can do and complete that will have a meaningful impact that lasts. So for me, good TE means understanding this. I'm looking for a task that once complete, I don't have to attend it to again. And I'm looking for a task that once complete pays long-tail dividends. That is to say, it continues to exist indefinitely and continues to do whatever it is that it does without me paying attention to it. Ideally, additionally, it would be something that I did that would keep itself organized. That's basically what YouTube videos are. For example, earlier today, I uploaded a video. I didn't fill in the title and the description or anything. And then later, I forgot about it. Later I came back and I was sitting there waiting for me to fill in the title and the description, but I didn't want to do it right then. And so, because Cameron and I were going to go to Home Depot. And then I just closed that tab and said, fuck it, I'll do it later. And what does YouTube do? Well, it just puts in the video manager at the top of the thing and shows that it's not titled, it's not published. And I just go in there next time and I'll do that. And it kind of goes out of its way to remind me to do it. It doesn't lose it someplace, like I would if it were a physical object. So that thing right there, the TE knowledge for me is be smart, Eric, and remember the way shit actually works. And so in that instance, it's like, sometimes I might be like, oh, Cameron, can you wait 5 more minutes because I really want to fill this in right now and get it out of the way and get it done. That would be another kind of TE. They're both TE. But the choice I made is more advanced TE. Because it says, remember, Eric, this will be easy to do later. It's not a burden that has any chance of lingering. I know it's not going to build up like a lot of things. I know it's something like that. It's very simple to do later and that I will do it later because until I do it, it's not published. And therefore, I don't get any payoff from it. When I want payoff, all I got to do is title it and publish it. I get varying degrees of emotional payoff in FE depending on the amount of people like a video. If it gets a lot of thumbs up, I watch that video a lot of times. And I feel happy and satisfied because I feel as though it must be good. And I think it's good because it's got a lot of positive attention. Occasionally, my opinion conflicts with those of the majority. And then I sit there and think about that a lot and wonder what's going on here. Because usually it goes along with it. Usually the ones that I think are best are the ones that people like the most and vice versa. But that's neither here nor there. So TI does that kind of shit. It analyzes, well, usually it's this. I wonder why. I wonder why. TE wonders how and whether. Why, if, and why, if, and ought are TI things. How, whether, and can are TE things. And that concludes this video on TI and TE. It was not a great video. I tried my best, given the fact that I did one take of it. I hope it was good enough for Mitch, who kind enough to ask me to distinguish between the two. And it did make me realize that I need to do more sort of basic, let's remember what these things are kind of videos, because it's a lot of information, and people who haven't spent as much time around it as me, it's the easiest thing to, the best way to get comfortable with it is to hear it repeated a lot. So I will do more of these kind of basic division videos. Thanks again to Mitch for asking. And don't forget, there's a need that remains unfulfilled. It's a need to eat cheese, plenty thereof.